T5S2 stands for the Tactical Tortoise Tabletop Simulator Tournament Series. It is a global competitive 40K circuit that ranks players based on their results in online games, including events run by Tactical Tortoise and many other communities. At the end of each biannual season, the top 16 players in the series are given the opportunity to play for the title of Season Champion and become the greatest virtual 40K player in the world in this very event, the Seasonal Invitational Tournament. With over 400 players and dozens of tournaments competing on the ladder in Season 1, T5S2 is now one of the largest and most competitive series in online Warhammer and shows no signs of slowing down. So what are you waiting for? Visit tts40k.com to view live standings, join the community Discord server, and get information on upcoming events and tournaments. There is glory to be won on this virtual battlefield, Commander. Do you have what it takes to compete? Want to get involved in T5S2 or events run by Tactical Tortoise? Visit the Tactical Tortoise Discord server at the link in the video description. There you can find signups for all manner of tournaments and casual games, including the T5S2 Youngbloods series of free, new player-friendly events designed to introduce you to 9th edition and give you a chance to experiment with new lists. For those looking for more competitive action, rapid-fire tournament pods are currently available that award prize support and standings points and help you hone your skills to a knife's edge. And remember to stay tuned for even more exciting events as Season 2 progresses, including team events, online GTs, and free weekly tournament pods launching shortly after the conclusion of this invitational on August 16th. Welcome to the community, and I'll see you on the battlefield. T5S2 stands for the Tactical Tortoise Tabletop Simulator Tournament Series. It is a global competitive 40K circuit that ranks players based on their results in online games, including events run by Tactical Tortoise and many other communities. At the end of each biannual season, the top 16 players in the series are given the opportunity to play for the title of Season Champion and become the greatest virtual 40K player in the world in this very event, the Seasonal Invitational Tournament. With over 400 players and dozens of tournaments competing on the ladder in Season 1, T5S2 is now one of the largest and most competitive series in online Warhammer and shows no signs of slowing down. So what are you waiting for? Visit tts40k.com to view live standings, join the community Discord server, and get information on upcoming events and tournaments. There is glory to be won on this virtual battlefield, Commander. Do you have what it takes to compete? Want to get involved in T5S2 or events run by Tactical Tortoise? Visit the Tactical Tortoise Discord server at the link in the video description. There you can find signups for all manner of tournaments and casual games, including the T5S2 Youngbloods series of free, new player-friendly events designed to introduce you to 9th edition and give you a chance to experiment with new lists. For those looking for more competitive action, rapid-fire tournament pods are currently available that award prize support and standings points and help you hone your skills to a knife's edge. And remember to stay tuned for even more exciting events as Season 2 progresses, including team events, online GTs, and free weekly tournament pods launching shortly after the conclusion of this invitational on August 16th. Welcome to the community, and I'll see you on the battlefield. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the stream and the T5S2 Invitational group stages. We are back in Group 2, where we just watched the other day. We had Kiantan on the table against Dineeth, and Dineeth is returning with his 60 possessed to the group stage table to absolutely rush some demons up the middle and see what he can do, scoring some of those primary points. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We have basically a full afternoon of streaming, starting with this game right now, and then moving on in about 5 hours. We're going to have Cullen Burns versus Nicholas Rose, Craftworld Eldar versus Salamander Space Marines. Excited for that game as well. It's going to be two MSU mechanized gun lines just blasting each other, and that's going to be a fun one. But we have a really interesting match today. Obviously, over in the red, Jack Tight, a.k.a. Skauki, with his Adeptus Mechanicus Martian army here, bringing the Belisarius Call himself, ready to go on a retrieval mission against Dineeth's Creations of Bile, returning to the stream, and it's going to be a spicy one. Skauki did win the role to go first, and obviously is deploying first, which is going to be a big deal. Getting the first hit off with those big Belaros energy cannons from the Scorpii is going to be pretty devastating to these possessed. We'll see how well that they can fight through and recover from that. Dineeth definitely trying to place his models very carefully in a defensive position to get cover against those Belaros energy guns, but obviously blast weapons, especially multi-damage blast weapons, as we saw in the previous game, are going to be really devastating to the 60 possessed star that Dineeth is bringing. So we'll see how well he can cope with it, and we'll see how well these Adeptus Mechanicus are able to take down this horde of chaos abominations. We did put Adeptus Mechanicus pretty high up there in our faction ranking when we were, Shuma and I were rating them the other day, and it'll be interesting to see how well they can compete in the 9th edition meta now with so much changed in their rules. As the players are deploying here, right now it looks like Skauki just finished his deployment and we're moving over to Dineeth to complete his. We'll talk about their lists real quick. You can find all of the lists for the Invitational over at tts40k.com/invitational. We also just yesterday put up their a roster of all of the match schedule, so you can find streaming links to all of the matches to be played, as well as live standings that are going to be updated as those matches complete. So you can stay tuned and root for your favorite players on as they compete to get out of the group stages to get to the single elimination stage next week, starting on August 12th. So here we are over with, we'll start with Skauki's list. Jack Tights playing Adeptus Mechanicus. Martian Battalion, 100% Mars. He's bringing Belisarius Call as well as the Tech Priest Manipulus. He's upgraded both of them to have Warlord traits. The Tech Priest Manipulus is going to have the Holy Order Warlord trait to allow the vehicles to fall back and shoot, as well as optionally get additional AP when they're within half range. Excellent Warlord trait, obviously, especially against a melee-focused list like Dineeth's. As those possessed come in, they do have an extreme threat range in that Creations of Bile Legion, and using those that special macro tensile sinews stratagem, they're able to actually get an immense amount of threat and really bullet up the table. So, and really want to touch as much as possible and engage it. So being able to fall back and shoot with all those big blast weapons is going to be absolutely instrumental in this game. He's also upgraded Belisarius Call to have his own Warlord trait to give him an additional 3 inches of range on all of his auras, which means that his full reroll aura is going to be in effect for 9 inches from that big guy rather than just the standard 6. We also have 3 units of Skitarii Vanguard, 2 with Plasma Calivers, 1 all Radium Carbines, and we have a unit of 5 Iron Strider Ballistarius, as we see here, right in the center of Skauki's deployment zone. Absolutely a dominating unit in 9th edition, post-Psychic Awakening. Those guys did not get much of a points increase going from 8th to 9th edition, and obviously having a vehicle keyword and non-blast weapons makes them able to fire in melee too if they need to. They can benefit from the +2 to hit if they need to as well from the stratagem, as well as get +1 to wound from their new stratagem in Psychic Awakening. So just an immense amount of firepower from these guys. You can Wrath of Mars them if you want. They do have a pretty high volume of fire to deal some mortal wounds. Speaking of Wrath of Mars, we also have a unit of Cerberus Raiders that we can see deployed right at the front of Skauki's deployment zone, ready to use their pregame move to bullet right up forward and just send a bunch of threat downrange. Those also benefit pretty well from Wrath of Mars. It's able to deal an additional swath of mortal wounds, especially with their mortal wounds that they're already doing from their gun's ability, as well as a unit of 10 Taraxii Skystalkers with Fleshed Carbines, another unit that's going to put out 30 shots and just be able to generate a bunch of random damage with that Wrath of Mars strat. So this list very much focused on using that Martian Forge World benefits to their utmost. We also have the patented 3 Scorpius Disintegrators. Not much to say there. Pretty standard pick, especially for Adeptus Mechanicus and especially for Mars, because we are in Mars, so we're going to be able to use that Martian Canticle, the special Canticle, probably replacing Litany of the Electromancer, which is on the whole very garbage, and give all of those heavy weapons +1 strength, putting the damage output of the Scorpius Disintegrator through the roof. In this matchup, the strength values don't matter quite so much outside of the Cogn's Heavy Stubbers getting buffed up, but the Belarus Energy Cannon, a lot of times going to Strength 7, is a game changer, and for certain, the missile launcher on that vehicle as well going to Strength 8 is going to be a big deal, because it starts winning those possessed on 2s. We also have 2 Archaeopter Fusilovs to drop some bombs on these guys. Another unit that's going to be absolutely devastating to these big units of possessed, just being able to dump out a whole bunch of mortal wounds and not really any ranged presence besides a couple Havocs in this Chaos list. So it's going to be tough for Dineeth to turn around and deal with those aircraft, especially one of them has a chaff launcher, so it's going to be -1 damage against those las cannons, and the other one just coming in with its command uplink can turn off any aura abilities. Very annoying if Skauki has the foresight to turn it on to potentially turn off the grotesque visage, that the stratagem that the Creations of Bile gives them access to give up -1 to hit or 6 inches from any of their units. That could potentially be very devastating to an Adeptus Mechanicus force that gets packed in so much like this. And let's do some housekeeping here. But being able to potentially deactivate that with the electrofilament countermeasures is going to be a big deal as well, having that command uplink on one of those guys. We also have 2 Scorpius Dune Riders. Not sure what those guys are carrying. I think one of them is carrying the Tyranxii Skystalkers.
It basically works the same way that
And the other one looks like we're just carrying a bunch of Vanguards. Makes total sense.
yeah, and charge.
Moving over to Dineeth's list, we did see this list in action on Monday against Kian Tan, where it was able to pull out a convincing win against the Sisters of Battle that we weren't sure we weren't sure if it was gonna be able to hold the center of the table as long as it did, because again, it's just a matchup where the majority of the Adeptus Sororitas weapons matched up so well into the stat lines and the profiles of this Chaos Space Marine list, but it was just able to hold on just long enough to dominate the center of the table in that surround and destroy mission and grab a dominating lead on the primary objective. And the secondary objective, I think, is where Dineeth really shone and pulled ahead with a whole boatload of points. We also, so in this list, we have an Exalted Champion. It's 2 patrol detachments coming from Chaos Space Marines. We have Fabius Bile in the first one, obviously as the Warlord to give access to that Creations of Bile Legion mark. We also have an Exalted Champion, as well as a unit of Chaos Space Marines in each patrol detachment. We have 3 total units of 20 possessed for a total of 60 possessed. The second patrol detachment being led by a Master of Possession and a Sorcerer, coming in with prescience and warp time with the Sorcerer to allow these units to really just book it right up the table. Prescience to give them +1 to hit, going to be very useful as well. But the Master Possession in there with Cursed Earth to increase their invulnerable save up to 4+, as well as Mutated Invigoration to reroll the random number of attacks that these possessed make, which is just making them a lot more consistent, which is going to be very helpful. Again, both patrol detachments have a unit of Chaos Space Marines in them, and then one patrol detachment has 2 Mark of Slaanesh Havocs. All of the possessed themselves are Mark of Khorne, so they do get access to the Fight Twice stratagem. And we have Mark of Slaanesh, like I mentioned, on the Havoc, so they can potentially Endless Cacophony to fire twice if they need to. Looks like Dineeth has...
I don't actually think I need to choose.
I don't know what's going on with this collider here. But Dineeth has, it looks like, placed very conservatively in his deployment zone, which makes a ton of sense. He has 1 unit of Havocs behind an obstacle here. All these obstacles are obscuring, as we can see if we mouse over them. So that they do block line of sight, effectively infinitely tall when trying to see through them, unless you are up touching them. So they're very difficult to fire through. That won't matter for the Belarus energy cannons. But Skauki does have to watch out because the burning trash piles on his side of the table are obscuring. Or are dense cover, excuse me. They're also obscuring, so they also block line of sight. But they are dense cover, so they'll impart a -1 to hit penalty on him if he fires through them. Even that includes indirect fire as well. So if he decides to hide those Scorpii behind the big piles of oil drums, then he will be -1 to hit at all of these possessed. So it looks like I think that was the pregame move in the standard move for these Cerberus Raiders to get them right up the table. Obviously, very defensive deployment from Dineeth here. Not a lot that Skauki is going to be able to shoot at, but he is going to be able to deal significant damage with those Belarus energy cannon indirect fire shots. We do have to watch out that these guys do maintain coherency because they are a large unit. Sashiru in the chat room. Yeah, we have Creations of Bile over here for Dineeth on the blue side. On the red side, Adeptus Mechanicus playing Mars. Thanks, everybody, again for tuning in. I'm glad everybody could make it. And I am excited to showcase this game. I'm excited to see these 60 possessed on the table every time.
Advocate that possessed unit for being tremor bombed and just bombing them normally.
Can we just double check that the Cerberus Raider unit here, placement here is legal? I'm not sure they're in coherency.
Alright, yeah, I thought I'd... I could have swore that was 2 when I looked at it the other day, but I guess not.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to fix some positioning here on Skalky's part to make that placement legal.
Do that instead.
Yeah, they're just going to have to squeeze together. Obviously, you can... this is a unit above 5 models, so it does require... it is required that all of the models stay within 2 inches of 2 other models. What you can do in order to complete that is basically sort of nudge them right up next to each other. So, for example, this model on the end here is going to be within 2 of both this model and that one. That's pretty common, and the rest of them you can string out. It's basically the ones on the end that you have to worry about. Because obviously if you're strung in the center of that string, you're going to be within 2 inches of, you know, sort of the model, each of the models to each of your sides. And then if you just have to keep in mind that if you lose anyone from the sides, you may lose more to a coherency check at the end of the turn. We did see the Tremor Bomb declared on, it looks like this unit of Possessed up in the top here from this Archaeopter Fusilov. That's going to be a little bit awkward for those guys, but it's not the end of the world. If you do have Warp Time online, those guys can still make a pretty reasonable charge. You do have to keep in mind, though, that the Cerberus Raiders can use their stratagem to fall back instead of firing Overwatch, so they can make a very good body block for these melee units. Because you probably aren't going to be able to make a charge into them. Alphabetical order, yeah, it's Adeptus Mechanicus going first this game. They did win the roll to go first and have taken the first turn. Makes a lot of sense. You basically just want to shoot your opponent as hard as possible with those guys. And I think giving this Possessed army first turn usually can potentially spell doom for them. Although in this deployment, it does give you access to this very defensive deployment if you are on the defending side of the table here. You could potentially block off a lot of real estate by blocking units from getting through these obstacles. And you can force the Possessed to sort of run out in the open here where there's no cover. They'll have light cover from this terrain, but that's about it. And they'll probably get lit up by the direct fire shooting of this Adeptus Mechanicus army. But as it stands, it has enough indirect fire and bombs and things like that that it's going to be able to knock out a lot of Possessed at range.
Oh, there.
Okay, cool. And 2 to Vanguard and the other one, eh?
Yeah.
Cool.
My Nicholas will do the plus 6 range for it is hopefully. I guess. Sit and wait for you. Right, so Tremor Bombs on these Possess, and then I'll bomb them normally.
Sounds good.
And dice.
I am a little worried for Dineeth about the consistent damage that these bombs are going to be able to potentially do. Yeah, that was a big hit right there. Looks like 7 mortal wounds to that unit. Kills 3.5 Possessed right off the bat. Oof. It's brutal. And not really much they can do about it. Like I said, they do have the Havocs that could potentially be
The other plane.
be shooting at these guys, but with the -1 to hit and the potentially a chaff launcher, it's going to be tough to confirm those hits. You do have access to prescience on one of them, and then you can Endless Cacophony to probably take out a plane.
Okay.
But it's a lot of dedication of resources in a list that doesn't have a ton to spare.
They take
1.5.
But it does look like Dineeth may have the opportunity to potentially use a Macrotensile Sinews plus a Warp Time to get a charge into this Dune Rider. And potentially wrap it.
Start with
But we'll see how much damage these units end up taking.
the furthest most 4PS will go into that back unit of Possess. About 9 shots. Freeze. Roll the pool.
So here comes the power of Blast in this particular matchup. I think this is really the only list in the Invitational that's really susceptible to Blast is this this Possessed list. because it looks like only 3 wounds through, actually. That's not that bad. But it's effectively the only list that's actually relying on units above 5 or 10. And it's really going to behoove this Admech army in this particular matchup to have that blast available. And I also like this position of Skauki, of the Scorpius inside, or in the center of this area. I think there's a big impetus to put your Scorpius back in the corners, just to keep them sort of as defensive as possible. But that does, the placement of this dense cover does force you sort of into the center if you don't want to be suffering that damage. We'll talk about the secondaries the players have picked quickly. Skauki is picked Engage on all fronts, which is a good one. He can score that with the aircraft from the GT packet, so that's going to be a pretty easy one for him to grab. And he also has access to those Cerberus Raiders and potentially those Taraxii Skystalkers to also confirm that secondary as well. He's picked While We Stand, We Fight, which looks like it's going to be on Belisarius' call. And his other most expensive models... What are they going to be? That's a good question. It looks like it's going to be the Scorpii. So 2 of the Scorpii are going to be picked for While We Stand. Or the Disintegrators, excuse me.
The other plane will shoot them as well.
As soon as we have a breakpoint in this in the turn here, I'm going to make sure that I confirm with the players which ones have been chosen. It doesn't look like they've been marked. And then we have minimize losses on Skauki's side, which is the mission-specific secondary. Basically, it lets you count the total number of units in your army at the start of the game, and then at the end of the game, whatever proportion of those you have left, you'll get a total out of 15 points. For that, I believe it's you'll max it if you have above 75% of your army remaining on the table.
Oh, that will be cool. The bomber with the chaff launcher, which is this one here.
Okay, they're talking about it now.
And then it will be this Scorpius.
Yeah, sounds good. Alrighty. Did you want to? Oh, wait, no chaff launcher. Alright, cool. Alright,
I'm gonna mark it in that Scorpius's tooltip there,
My 1 CP.
so that we don't get them confused.
Have the 1 CP off.
Perfect. So looks like the chaff launcher Fuselage, which is this one right here, as well as one of the Scorpiuses and Belisarius' Call are the 3 While We Stand targets. Definitely makes a lot of sense to put it on the chaff launcher Fuselage. Although I have to wonder how reliable Dineeth attacking into those Scorpii is going to be. He doesn't have a lot that can reach that far back, and these Havocs are going to get lit up very quickly. So it looks like 3 Havocs out of 1 squad went down, leaving only 2 las cannons alive, and we lost a grand total of, looks like 9. 9 possessed that turn. Could have been worse, for sure, between all those bombs and everything, but wasn't great, I think. Definitely, you can't sit around and and eat that kind of damage. It's really brutal. Eventually, those disintegrators will slowly kill Dineeth's entire army. We've actually see some very similar picks on Dineeth's side of the table for his secondaries. He also has brought While We Stand, We Fight, which ends up hitting basically all of his characters. It gets Fabius Bile, and it gets his 2 casters, the Master of Possession and the Sorcerer, are his 3 most expensive models.
Good job, Havocs.
Typically, it looks like a Havoc fled as well. Ooh, my gosh, that's brutal. Yikes. So almost all of, basically...
Good job, Havocs. Oof. Solid performance there.
Basically half of Dineeth's fire anti-tank firepower removed right there. That's a big problem.
They will have 20 shots.
So While We Stand, We Fight also on Dineeth's side of the table, and the way he plays, typically he'll have those characters kind of embedded inside those possessed units, and they are very difficult to pick out, especially with ranged attacks. It's very difficult to get reliable shooting onto them. He has also picked Minimize Losses, which I think is a pretty good one. Dineeth's army, while it isn't the hardest to kill, it does have a lot of large units, and they are very difficult to entirely take out. And as we saw in the last game, he almost didn't lose all of his possessed units. they were down to 1 or 2 models towards the end of the game. Keon was able to finally kill them off, but just the amount of time that 40 wounds will stay on the table in one of these big 20-man possessed units is sort of it's always surprising, honestly. We've also taken Raise the Banners high on Dineeth's side of the table, and it looks like he is getting ready to place 3 banners in his deployment zone here. A little bit awkward because his possessed do not obsec, and so there could potentially be... We could see some of these fast Admech units just pile out and run to one of these objectives to break those banners for him. But I do think as a defensive player, especially in Retrieval Mission, that's certainly one of the best picks that you have. I do think it's interesting how similar these secondary picks between these players are, and it's going to be interesting to see which army is better suited to play them.
I made the strong assumption you wouldn't have potatoed hard and let me kill your Sork, so I probably wasn't looking for it.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll move into this eventually. I'm definitely not going to let that happen again.
So people in the chat, thanks again everybody for joining us. But what are you guys thinking about this matchup? Are you? It feels to me like Adeptus Mechanicus probably have a pretty good. Adeptus Mechanicus, I think, in my opinion, would be the favor. Although that's what we said against in the game of Keon versus Dineeth on Monday, but Dineeth proved us wrong there. But Adeptus Mechanicus has a lot of indirect fire that is very good at killing possessed. So, where do you think who do you think is going to win this one?
Yep.
I think Adeptus Mechanicus already having those disintegrators on the table and going first is going to be a big deal. But Dineeth obviously has shown his chops. He's not a slouch. Looks like Jack talking about the banners pick on Dineeth's side of the table. I do think while it's oftentimes an odd move to take banners, usually you'll take banners as sort of the last pick in the selection and not one that you're sort of expecting to max out. It's going to be, a lot of times it's tough to get the full points on banners because your opponent is able to interact with it so successfully. That said, in my opinion, Retrieval Mission and Outflank are the two, or not Outflank, Overrun, excuse me, are the 2 missions that are best suited for banners. And so I do think in this situation, it's going to be a pretty good one for Dineeth. I think he does have to be worried about Skitarii just running out and grabbing those objectives. And like I said, there's going to be some situations where he gets outnumbered by these fast Admech units. But once he's able to take those out, because those are going to be the easiest units in his opponent's army to kill, he really has free reign of those banner objectives. And these Admech models aren't going to be great at crossing the table. The Iron Striders can, but they'll get the crap kicked out of them by Possessed if they come anywhere close to them. So I'm not sure that's really what Skauki wants to do with them. And Dineeth obviously playing a very cagey game, just forcing the Adeptus Mechanicus to rely on those disintegrator shots and not really get any good hits with their direct fire shooting.
43. 2 mortal wounds on the that plane. I'm going to try to watch them.
We'll send it back to the player mics here as looks like Dineeth is contemplating his next move.
And then he's just going to prescience the front unit that's T5. Doesn't get it. Alright, shooting.
Looks like we were going for a prescience on the Possessed, I guess, in case they got engaged.
Yep.
And failed it. It is awkward because this Havoc squad, this remaining Havoc squad, is so far back off the edge of the table here. And,
oh, sorry, never one. My bad.
I would have liked to have seen a
just 1-6 up.
a prescience on them.
5-X got Shroud Sun.
Nice.
Goes through anyway. Full one.
Yay. I'll just double tap that unit.
Looks like we're going with an endless cacophony here, but I would have liked to have seen.
Probably have some pistols and stuff in range anyway. That's alright. And 3s.
Did he just mark his?
I'll just chuck a couple of nades, mate, if I get range.
think Dineeth may have just marked his opponent's command tracker there. I will double check though.
Frags. Yeah, cool. I'll just do 2 cracks. Hitting on 4s. Moving on 3.
Yeah, he definitely did. let's get that
I'll
fixed.
just do 30 seconds. So hitting on 4s.
Sneaky beaky.
Moving on 6s.
There you go, buddy.
Nothing.
Jesus.
Sweet. So starting to raise banners on all 3 with that possess.
Ed Valdor thinking Creations of Bile should have taken Bring It Down over Minimize. It's an interesting discussion, I think. I think that
was an eventful turn 1.
Dineeth is maybe worried about actually being able to get to those guns in the back. He can score it pretty seriously off of those Iron Striders, but he does have to get there. And that's going to be tough for him. So we are passing it over to Skowky.
Oh, yeah.
Probably flipped his clock back over.
Hold 2.
But Skowky not able to get into the center objectives and just scoring the 10 points for holding 2 objectives.
Upswing should be down to 8 CP.
Turn to 90 again.
He can move a full 180 pivot, hey?
Yeah, so they can turn 90. Then at any point in their move, they can turn 90 again.
Nice.
Because who doesn't like better Eldar planes?
That's sick.
I mean, I know I do.
Could we just double check the CP here? Because Dineeth, I think you keep hitting Jack's CP tracker.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I should be on 10, I think.
Yeah, and I knocked Dineeth down to 9. He was at 11.
Oh, that's right. I should be on 8. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, well, there you go. So we did score the 10 points for Skowky, as well as 3 for engagement of friends from last turn for those planes. Looks like one of the planes was turned around with that amazing, incredible maneuverability that those Adeptus Mechanicus planes enjoy. Able to just entirely 180 degree and spin right around. Looks like we're going to double bomb one of these units of Possessed. And we'll see if they end up getting hit with that tremor as well.
Sounds good.
I'm a little worried for Dineeth's ability to deal with these planes. With 1 Havoc squad already taken out, it may be that Skowky just turns around and hits the other Havoc squad with a lot of his direct fire here. He might even be able to turn around and get these Iron Striders into this position. Uh-oh. I apologize to anybody if we do experience an interruption here. Just double check that the stream is still okay. Yeah, because I have had some power flickers over the last couple of days. We have had some storms in the area, and I may lose power. I hope that doesn't work out, but
yeah, with the coherency here.
Just shout at me for it. It
No, you're
keeps escaping my my mind.
yeah, chat. That would be that would be why. It looks like there were a couple of interruptions on the stream. That would be why there is. If we do have an issue, I think I had a
this guy here.
looks like a sort of micro
Just if
outage
you wanted him in range.
for about a quarter of a second, and that would probably be why you saw a flicker there.
Okay. Cool.
Looks like chat's rooting for the death of these Cerberus Raiders. Yeah. This matchup seems very difficult for Dineeth without really an ability to deal with this anti-melee units on the Admech side of the table. Obviously, these Cerberus Raiders can really body block these possessed, sort of ad infinitum. I actually almost would have liked to have seen a charge declared by Dineeth on them, just to see if he could force the CP to make them fall back out of it. Eventually, you have to bleed the Adeptus Mechanicus player dry of the CP that he uses to fall back with those guys. Although giving them additional movement maybe isn't what you want to do.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, cool. So for that.
Bombs-wise, I'm going to drop Tremor Bombs on that front unit of Possessed.
We're just going to continually Tremor.
Bring me down to 9.
Yep.
And then I will bomb... This one will bomb that back unit of Possessed that's sitting around. How many models have they got still? 14.
13. Yeah.
13.
Sorry, 14.
I'll bomb them as well. For another 5 models.
Jeez.
5 models, very nice.
Brutal. Just brutal on these bombs here. Interested to know what the Admech game plan is.
Might want to do that.
He does. Both of these players have taken extremely defensive sets of secondaries, and so basically, if they are just
5 into a 4 to make it Shroud Psalm,
Dineeth will
so I have
eventually
Shroud Psalm and the
lose.
Mask Canticle again.
At the end of the game, just if they just having less models on the table and Skauki able to grab a couple of cheeky primary points in the late game.
And the Manipulus will fix the...
Yeah, we did have a little bit of a connection interruption earlier. Looks like on my report about 20 minutes ago, everyone. So I don't know if it may be worth refreshing or restarting the stream if you are having significant difficulties, but it looks like we're back to normal. Based on the report that I have here.
Do the Scorpius into those Possessed.
Yep.
For 9 shots.
It looks like 2 of these Possessed units have been bombed down pretty low. Or 1 of these Possessed units, I guess. Looks like this front unit is still relatively healthy.
3s, 2 wounds.
4 up.
Looks like there's unit number 3 here. But number 1 has been dropped to 11 models. And we're going to continually hit this one. Number 2.
Second Scorpius,
with those Scorpius
will shoot
shots.
those Possessed as well.
Sounds good.
I don't know why I'm rolling. I have 9 shots. Don't need to do that. They all hit, and I'll get about 1 wound, I'm sure. Oh no, 7. Wow.
And I lose 4 Possessed. Wow, nice.
Cool.
I guess it doesn't work.
And then because I misplayed and didn't measure it properly, there's one that will... I guess he'll go into the front unit in there to get my lovely 9 shots.
I guess I'll just pop a CP to make them T6.
Well, you know I'm strength 7, right?
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have to. You've also...
Oh, so there's Martian Canticle actually coming into play
on
those Disintegrator guns here. In that, with the +2 toughness, between Fabius Bile's buff and the creation of the Bile stratagem for +1 toughness, reactively, you can get those possessed to toughness 6, so potentially they could be -1 to be wounded from those Disintegrators, but moving them to strength 7 means that they're going to wound on 3s regardless.
Awesome.
Just the awesome power of that Martian Canticle.
One raider that can see will take some pot shots at those possessed.
I'm sure he will.
He may as well. He misses. Good job. Then we'll do this plane. We'll shoot those possessed as well. Now this is strength 5, but
that's fine.
Cool. Toughness 5?
T4 at the moment.
Okay.
I would like to see Skauki start focus firing on Dineeth's OBSEC models, if I'm honest. It's a little bit less efficient for him, but it does allow him to push ahead on primary objectives
and then
pretty
I'm
easily.
pretty sure that ends another very eventful turn for me.
Nice. Heavy on scoring any.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're just chilling on this game here.
No engage.
Yeah, I probably should have moved my flyer slightly further back than that, but oh well.
So, I get 2 banners because you've taken me off this one. Cool. I'll do morale. That unit that lost 1 can't fail. I'll do possessed 1 that lost 4. They're good. And this unit lost 7. Yeah, now's the time to auto pass. Cool. I'm just going to auto pass that unit.
Which banner was removed?
It looks like this one.
Well, you still hold that objective, right?
Oh, do I still get the banner? Cool.
Yeah, your opponent has to control the objective.
Oh, sweet. Alright. Movement. Not going to pay the CP for anything.
Yeah, Chad, I don't believe that aircraft can control objectives. It looks like Dineeth may have been mistaken about those banners there. The banner, in order to break a banner from raise a banners high, your opponent has to control the objective. You just can't perform the action if the enemy's already there.
Just move these guys.
So because Dineeth has those Chaos Space Marines there, he is obsecking that objective, and so unless Scutarii or something gets up there, he's going to be able to hold that down.
8th to playing this monstrosity, so it's so foreign, so I apologize if I'm slow.
That's alright. I mean, I love it. I mean, who doesn't want to see 60 possessed on the table? I remember a time when this was the sort of unit that everybody laughed at for being terrible, so...
I know, right?
And here they are now. All 60 of them, here to prove otherwise.
That's it, mate. I just need to go like a ½ inch further.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and click the primaries there for Dineeth. He scored 10 for holding 2 objectives, but obviously the players are tied 3-3 currently on objectives, so no more than that on primaries.
Sweet. That's a play with the chaff launcher, cool. So all I'm going to do is make a little channel for my OBSEC Marines to go through there. That's all I'm really doing. Fab Daddy will move, so I'll give you this space.
Yeah, and Dineeth looks like recognizing the same thing on the other side. He's going to be stringing his Chaos Space Marines over to be able to touch that objective. The objective 3 does protrude into the building here. It's one of the benefits of getting on this side of the table in a retrieval mission.
Just get him out of the way so I can physically put the model down. There we go.
So you are able to hold from inside that building. And while you do have, there is a lot of real estate outside the obstacle for the other player to move in and contest it. You do not have to move out into the open in order to hold it. That's one of the big attacker-defender benefits that we tried to build into all these maps. The defender has a lot more of control over where they can control their objectives from, whereas the attacker on the other side, basically, they can hold this relatively safely, but these objectives, they will mostly likely have to move out of line of sight to grab onto.
Cool. Let's see if I can one-hit a plane, mate. So yeah, banners are still active, of course.
I'm interested to see if Dineeth has sort of a long gameplay here. It does seem like to me that he's slowly going to be chewed away by these Adeptus Mechanicus.
Last cannon's into the plane, mate.
And probably just lose on a couple points right at the end.
I'll roll Cursed Earth, just in case something matters. Yeah. I don't think any of the others are really. Yeah, so I get Cursed Earth. Cool. Just in case, I'll go to the other psycho. Oh, no, I'll put Invigorations on the front unit. Perils, yeah.
Perils for the mutated Invigoration. For 3 mortal wounds. Oh no, on the Master Possessed. That's brutal. Yikes.
Alright, the Sork will now...
Just for a random Psychic Power, you don't really need.
He'll just put Prescience on that unit that Possessed. Nope. Maybe Perils again. Alrighty. No need to warp time. Yeah, just the 4 last cannons into the plane.
Looks like we may be double shooting into this Fuselage, but we're not shooting at the Chaff Launcher Fuselage, which is a little bit awkward.
Moving on 3s. Nope.
Oh, only 1 hit again?
Double tap.
Jeez. Brutal. These Havocs. I have seen this 5-man Havoc squad do mad work, but oh boy.
Alright, next round. 4s.
Oh no. 1 hit again. At least it wounds this time. Down to a 5-up save. Goes through for 3 damage.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, this is on the Chaff Launcher Fuselage. I apologize. Looks like they swap places, actually.
2 CP and move.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're declaring a charge from the Possessed into the Surface Raiders. And it looks like they're just going to back off with their stratagem.
Yep, sounds good. I'm not even going to roll the charge.
It's kind of a free attempt on Dineeth's part, so you might as well do it and force the Admech player to actually spend some of their CP.
This is a thrilling game for everybody watching, I'm sure.
So yeah, no secondaries there. On to you, mate.
And so we're back to 10 points in Skocky's turn. Cool. Here we go, everybody. Skouky gonna turn around and probably score 3 more on engage on all fronts, and yeah, we're gonna kill some Possessed. Maybe we're gonna bomb some people. How exciting!
Back Possessed squad now.
That has 10 exactly.
10. Okay, well that sounds like perfect target for this dude.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the reason that we're seeing these Havoc squads is that because they're very efficient, right? It's only 145 points for each of these squads, and they do a lot of damage if they do hit into a vehicle that they can hit. But unfortunately,
we'll rinse and repeat.
Not being able to actually hit these flyers for the life of them is really problematic for these guys. I think that Sorcerer just needs to get back there and impressions that unit. Like, holy crap. Give them their +1 to hit. They need it so badly. I do like the position of that Havoc squad because it is very difficult to get at for Squawky, whereas it can really hit those.
This turn of everything.
Basically, always hit those flyers because they aren't blocked by the obstructions. That said, it is without any buffs. There's no rerolls to hit. There's no +1 to hit over there. They're just chilling.
Right. Would you go for a risky bomb on the master? Oh, can you bomb characters?
You know, I can.
Oh,
now that you said it, it's really tempting. Just a 4-up to kill him. But if it was the Sorcerer with warp time, I'd be a lot more interested. But
of course, yeah.
That is kind of a cheeky play, going for the 1 dice bomb on the Master Possession potentially. The plane did fly over him.
Off their range.
And on a 4+ he takes a mortal wound and dies. That would be brutal. Absolutely brutal. So, yeah, I'm
like to hear.
Sounds good.
Go a long trip round just so he can make his minimum move.
Endlessly fascinated by the decisions made in this game so far that they can.
I didn't because I put my plane slightly over the mid-board line, like a bit of if you don't mind, I'll nudge him just enough that he's in the 3rd quarter this time. Oh, to be fair, I think my Raiders are this time. Last time they were slightly too spread out for it. But
is there anyone at this corner?
No, I don't think I'm going to get the max points for it this turn. Mainly because I'm quite enjoying just sitting here and hiding, to be honest.
At Valdor, yeah, Obliterators only shoot 24 inches. So definitely, certainly the Havocs are able to engage at a much longer distance. And as we've been seeing...
Okay, right, bomb time. I'll seismic bomb the front unit of Possessed.
They do take a lot of...
A unit of 10, you said?
No, I think I quite like these ones here with the tectonic bombs. And then the normal bombs I'll drop on those 10 Possessed.
Sounds good.
Models. Seeing as they so kindly gave me 10 models, so...
Yeah.
Well, that does push most of these possessed units below 10. It does look like this one is at 10. There's possessed number 2 up here, and the squad number 3, I think, is almost close to full.
Right.
So that blast is turned on a little bit this round. On this front unit, unit number 3, but our blasting days are mostly over, I think, for this game, for the Admech.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I got... Actually, have I rolled for it? I don't think I've rolled for it again this turn. Which unit is the T5? Is it both of them?
Yeah.
I will say that this is pretty representative of
choose
Dineeth's...
Shroud and Mars Canticle. I can't pick it again. Yeah, we'll choose it. Right, shooting.
Dineeth's playstyle. In the games that we've seen him so far, he does play. Typically tends to play a relatively cagey game, and he likes to just sort of match you on points until the very end of the game, where he can make a big play to squeak out the win.
Oh, what's that about? Nine shots? I think I'll have 9 shots. Thank you.
I hope he doesn't have. I hope he has enough at the end of these. At the end of these 4 rounds, going into the round 6, that he can actually make a fight for the end.
5 wounds at -1.
Nice, man. So 4 ups, 3 down.
I will do the same with a second Scorpius.
Oh, this is the money, mate.
Oh man, you can't make this up, can you? 9, 9, 9. You may as well have just... Yeah, you're right to stick with 20-man squads, really. I mean...
yeah, the blasting days for these Scorpii might be over, but the gunners certainly don't want to believe it.
I don't think I'm in cover yet.
And they're just going to be blasting.
Yeah, cool. So, losing 3.
Every single one of them is just hitting for maximum damage. Brutal. 3 more. Possess go down to that shot. Yikes.
Nice.
And then I will do my... left in that unit.
I do think that these Scorpius need to dedicate a round of shooting to kill these Chaos Space Marines.
I kind of want to go for the
on the table, though.
Nah.
You absolutely have to remove that
go
offset from Dineeth's army in order to start pushing him back on primary
3 shots, because it doesn't look like there's 11 of them there.
This game's going to come down to a close finish, and if that
I'm sorry for this, man.
If Skauki
this is mean.
ends up going down because Dineeth's able to squeak out an objective from him, it could be an absolute heartbreaker of a game.
Okay, only 2.
3 ups in cover. 1
Use 1.
Cool.
So it looks like the infantry are within 3 inches of the obstruction there, so they're going to be getting cover.
And then this bomber is going to shoot some havocs.
Yeah.
I don't know why. They really haven't seemed to have done much this game so far, but hey, who knows? Maybe they're due for a hot turn. So
strength 5, sorry, just before you roll the wood.
Oh yeah,
5.
so 4s.
Yeah, oh never mind. You already rolled.
If you wanted to spend it, then you nah.
Just 2 ups. Oh, this is the money, mate. See you, champion.
That's the worst job to be, isn't it? It's to be the sergeant in either a Devastator squad or a Havoc squad.
Chat, yeah, it was funny.
Man,
that
you are done for.
Everyone branded Scorpius as being so terrible in 9th edition, but oh boy, is that unit
that ends
an absolute moneymaker.
Eventful turn. Yay!
Awesome. Well, I'll do morale for the unit of 7. They pass on a 1. No, so 1 runs. And I've got to do an attrition test for those 2 remaining. So one more on. So I've got one.
This looks like one possessed unit almost entirely
Excellent.
wiped out. This possessed unit number 1 here, sitting on objective 1.
All right, he's hiding. Okay. Start of my turn. I get the 10 and my banners.
Interesting that Skouki didn't end up putting his
It really is.
Archaeopter.
I can't imagine Trevi's stream viewership figures are doing particularly well at the moment.
Well, I appreciate Jack's concern for
on
the
stream
chat.
again.
I think we're having a good time though, everybody. I'm
we're
glad
banned.
everyone showed up and is sticking through it. This is going to be an
60
interesting
hearts
game
still
come
possessed,
around
everyone is sitting at the back
the
of
next
board
round.
and
Because we are going to get right down to it. This may be a quick one. Both players only have spent 30 minutes on their chess clock, including deployment, for the entire first 3 rounds of this game. And but I do think right at the end of the game is where Dineeth needs to be able to pull out some work to deal with this. Although that said, I am impressed that he is. I mean, he is leading points right now by 1. In that. Skouki, unfortunately, lost a point on engage on all fronts, and he will not be getting that point back.
T5, yep.
So if Dineeth maintains the game state and is sort of just continually scores out his secondary objectives, he may be able to squeak out a point on that. Assuming that all of these players get all of their while we stand we fight and minimize losses points. Although I imagine Dineeth may lose a couple points on minimize losses. But if he's able to finally take out this Archaeopter in the back here, which Skouki wasn't able to put into a position to be repaired.
I'm going to pay 2 CP. Do I get one back? I do get one of them back, so it costs down to 5. For Grandfather's Blessing on Master Possession, because they're market maneuver. To heal D3. Yay, he's on full mana.
Okay, so we're gonna we spent 2 CP to heal the Master Possession.
Alrighty.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm definitely just gonna chill, keep bannering up.
That is a pricey
with
heal
Master
right there, but
Possession.
it does take the opportunity for that
Actually, just let me change one thing. I'll just make sure we're all in cover
for
this
that
time,
cheeky
'cause that
bomb to take him
really
out.
is important. Sorry, mate. Hope you don't mind.
It's fine.
Cheers. Yep. 3.1. Alright, a little bit more, but...
But I would absolutely like to see Dineeth knock out this Archaeopter.
That should be good.
That would be such a big swing
Awesome.
that
Okay.
it might actually put him in the lead of this
I'll
game
just
if
do
he's
Curse.
able to knock 10 or 5 points off of that while we
I
stand.
literally don't need Curse Death.
He needs the...
Fuck it. He's just gonna smite first. Gets a smite.
He absolutely
D3,
needs those Havocs to turn on for a turn, though.
Plane. The Sork is gonna smite. Gets it. I'm so close to these big smites. Fair 2 more on the plane. The Havocs.
There's 4 Las Cannon
Las
Havocs in the
Cannons
corner
on the
left over here. Their champion was killed,
Fours and
but
threes.
the rest of the unit survived.
2 5-ups.
Oh, only one
One goes through.
one shot goes through. Ooh,
5.
Damage.
Leaves them
5,
on
but
1.
we are shooting at this close Archaeopter,
And
which is
as
not the
expected,
chaff
I'll
one. That one has not been picked for.
But I'll see what I have
while
in
we
terms
stand.
of other guns. Fabius's pistol first. 3 shots. Hitting on 4s, hitting on 6s. 1 neg 2, 2 damage. Oh, Fabius, you're the man.
Well, no, I think that's nearby, but
Did Fabius kill it with his pistol?
Daddy killed me.
Chat! Amazing!
I'm just checking
What a
everything
boss
else
that
in
guy is!
So I will not shoot twice then. And that was turn 3, so I've got 6 banners. Yeah, your turn, mate.
There you go. Enough random gunshots from your army. Eventually you'll kill an Archaeopter. And it helped that those Havocs turned up for 5 damage that turn. Finally, they were
This is
able to
the
do some
latest
damage.
game of 40K.
but it wasn't the WoW we stand pick though. So there's still.
I can absolutely guarantee that Trevi hates us right now.
You guys are okay. I'll go on record saying I hate neither of these players.
40 minutes. I'll get another hour's sleep before.
Quick game.
Awesome. Yeah.
Let's take a look at Fabius Bile's profile here. Oh yeah, he hit it with the Cyclist Needler.
I think he is going to go over there because, funnily enough, I do quite like the tremor bombs.
Winning on 6s. But if it does wound a vehicle, if it does roll that 6 to wound, it is a massive -2/2 damage shot. Now at this point, if I'm Skauki, man, I almost don't even go for the bomb here. Why give it to your opponent?
And reroll 1s to hit for shooting, so no Mars.
What a shot from Fabius there. I'm so proud of that
really
guy.
Does feel like I should be doing something else here, but
let's see if Skauki finally turns around and starts killing off these Chaos Space Marine units. He needs to kill the troops choices in Dineeth's army right now.
Oh, I was meant to. Oh, fuck, never mind. I wanted to declare a charge there, but do not worry. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that is a funny situation. You don't expect your opponent to actually be there when you declare the charge, so the actual charge doesn't matter because they can leave, but it forces your opponent to bleed CP to keep that unit alive.
I'll get these guys out.
Oh, it's Jiraxii coming out to play.
Only so they can do their go away. What turn are we on? Turn 4. I mean, there's
one more turn left here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, there's all the good that this is going to do, but
we are just about an hour into this game, almost exactly 1 hour into this game, chat, and we're almost done.
Did you want to just put them in reserve, but you want to actually deploy them?
Amazing. Amazing.
I
it does
can't
seem to
remember if it's
me
the start of the movement phase or
like
the
Dineeth
end,
may be doing the math.
I feel
here
like it was the start,
and
so
saying that he could
but
potentially.
I'll have a look at it up. I'll look it up in a minute. If they can, then they'll go into reserve. But
he can potentially make Skauki make some mistakes here, and I think that it just happened. Skauki moving this Archaeopter up, and
they are actually having issues getting out of the transport with the space they've got. So
potentially moving into the danger zone.
Maybe they
again, all these bolt guns were able to take out the last Archaeopter.
So.
This one does have a chaff launcher, but
okay,
if he kills this,
get out over here,
if Dineeth kills this, that might be the entire game.
There's not even space there, so yeah, they're not getting out because there is not enough space. Solid.
Yeah, unfortunately, those large models with that forcing you to be completely within 3 inches now instead of just within 3 inches makes it a little tougher to leave those transports. I should mention as well, we did have a game that was that completed off stream with Skauki versus Kian, and Kian a little bit on the ropes after her game with Dineeth on Monday in round 1, but Kian able to take down Jack in that game here.
Yes.
Honestly, with this unit, I don't care about.
It was a close game, 67 to 63 points. I was just double checking the score, and so Skauki's sort of on the ropes, fighting for his tournament life. After that loss, if he loses again, he may very well be out of the group stages. And he does have one more game against Daniel Kennedy to complete, or against Matthew Green to complete. But he, depending on how tiebreakers shake out, he will be.
Move these dudes up.
I think just playing for a dream. Yeah, you can disembark into the area terrain. Chat.
Yeah. Yeah, you might not want to do it, but you certainly are allowed.
I'm gonna tectonic bomb the big unit of possessed,
Yep, go for it.
and then I'm gonna regular bomb the big unit of possessed as well.
So we're going to hit that unit with the last bomb, potentially maybe the last bomb of the game if this Archaeopter goes down.
Five mortals.
Nice.
Ooh. There's another 5.
Take those
2.5 possessed, taken out by these Archaeopters. Doing mad work are these planes.
One's on one.
Just so strong.
Then the raiders are gonna shoot the possessed. At least the ones that can see are. So
I reckon I got about 4 or 5, yeah. Sweet.
5. Threes, re-rolling 1s for having that Tentacle this turn.
Nice.
4s to wound. 6s do a mortal and are at AP -1.
So this one's no AP, hey?
Yep.
2 up. And
then
up.
-1.
Yep,
Okay.
so
And
one possessed.
Yep.
I think one was wounded. No, they weren't. Cool.
All right, well, the Cerberus Raiders finally getting some shots. Putting some shots downrange.
then Scorpius Disintegrator number 1 is going to shoot at those 9 possessed behind here.
So that was good.
I think Skauki
Yeah,
needs
how
to
many shots
hit
you got, so it
those
doesn't matter.
Chaos Space Marines.
It's 6 this time. Re-rolling.
I'm not sure that he can afford to take these shots into the possessed anymore.
3 up.
5 at -1.
Not to mention that with that minimized losses pick, if you just hit those small 5-man squads, I mean, you could knock out 4 units off of the Chaos list pretty quickly. Just killing those 2 Havoc squads and the 2
another
Chaos Space
Scorpius
Marine
at them.
squads without even hitting the Possessed. The Possessed are such
There
a
you
juicy
go.
target, but I don't think they should be the target that Squawky's going for here.
Yeah. 3 wounds, -1.
Squawky, I'm not sure doing the math in his head of exactly what he needs to do to squeak a win out.
Nice.
Then the last Scorpius, I guess, will shoot them as well.
Yeah, I mean, that said,
5 shots.
to the point though, I mean, you can take those whittling the Possessed down mean that they can't be quite as aggressive on the last turn, which is good.
1 wound.
And certainly maybe what
does.
Dineeth's plan is.
And this plane is going to shoot his friend, the Havocs.
Yep. Should be still alive yet. Cool. Your T5. Sorry. I'm just going to reactive T6. So we're doing
You
5s.
choose 5 right, anyway.
Sorry.
I haven't got Mars Canticle this turn, so I need
Oh.
5s anyway.
Thanks, mate.
That's fine.
Dineeth really wants to use his
2 wins.
stratagem. Just let him do it, man.
Watch me
Just
play
get him get +1 wound.
No, they're good. Look, they
Plus
did
1
it.
toughness. I almost would have saved the CP as
I guess I'll do
Dineeth there.
now.
Not that he
Level
needed it,
6.
but just to keep him one of those Havocs alive in case he rolls that one.
I'm very lucky.
But oh man,
I'll just put my 3
I
banners
think
down.
Skauki needed to push harder earlier in the game here. We'll see how the final
Awesome.
score ends up because Dineeth does need to actually confirm
Okay.
that he will score more at the end of the game.
2 engage all fronts. Cool.
But we'll see how it goes. I do think Dineeth is in the driver's seat here. I don't think this target priority from the Admech was as effective
bizarre.
as we wanted it to be.
I'm pretty much not moving anything.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty safe with that unit. That's 17. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try
Yeah,
and
chat. I think I agree with you. If the Havocs are able to kill that plane with their double tap,
Sabius
I
is
think
gonna buff,
it's Chaos's game.
the Master of Possession.
And this is a turn where you might
55.
start just blowing random CP. You know, you vets those guys, you reroll some wound rolls, you just burn CP to kill that plane. You have to do it this turn or next turn.
And I'm just gonna need
And it
more
might
damage
just
to
book it
the
next turn.
walls.
It might just leave and head in the corner and make the line of sight difficult.
So still getting cover, but more damage from the wall. What's your movement with these guys?
They can advance 2d6 with a strat and then shoot at normal ballistic skill basically because they've got Cognis weapons.
Okay.
And then they give themselves +2 to hit.
Okay, cool.
I also wonder if Skauki is kind of kicking himself for not taking that random bomb on the Master Possession. I think it's probably in the back of his mind, he sort of assumed he would get another chance at it later on in the game. But after that Grandfather Blessing, healing it back to full, it's sort of been removed. But that's, again, that's a 5-point swing if you kill that Master Possession right there, because that is one of Dineeth's While We Stand, We Fight targets. Man, this game is on a knife's edge, chat. As boring as it looks, it's so exciting.
Just make sure you can't get it. Oh, actually, that's right. That doesn't matter. They're going to get shot. I'm just going to cop that. It's okay.
Yeah, so Dineeth's just setting up tier to be as optimal as possible against the last turn of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Trying to remain within 3 inches of these obstacles to get that cover.
Yeah, Fabius.
Techno Jellyfish, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Yeah, this game is coming right down to the wire. It has been a very short game, but it's about to become interesting.
Yeah, cool. Just the autocannon neg. Alright, so Master of Possessions will smite. Gets thrown 9. For 1 mortal wound on the player.
Only 1 wound from a smite here. A little disappointing. Do we smite with the sorcerer?
Mutated invigorations on this unit. Just to reroll the number of attacks. Gets it. The sorcerer will smite.
Ooh.
I'll actually command point that.
Yeah.
So first off, do I get the command point back? I don't. So I'm back down to 5. Yep. And what's my roll for the smite? Yep, I get it for 3 mortal wounds.
Ooh, big 3. Puts that Archaeopter down to 3. Oh no, chat.
He's going to preach against the front unit while he's there.
This could be it. For those just tuning in who don't really know the situation, the players have basically been even on score, as we can see right now. Dineeth is up by 2 points currently, just on his banners, versus Skauki giving up a couple points on engage on all fronts, unfortunately. But both players have taken both minimized losses and While We Stand, We Fight, so trying to keep their armies alive as desperately as they can.
Yeah.
And
well,
this
they
is
both
one of Skauki's While We Stand, We Fight targets, so he will lose 5 points at the end of the game if he loses that model. And that should be, we'll see how the minimized losses ends up, but that should be enough to clinch the win for the Chaos here.
No, then I'll just do all the last cannons. Cool. Yay!
They all miss! Chat, oh no!
Before I double shoot, I'll just shoot the 5 bolters from the Space Marines. 4s and 5s on the plane.
Oh no, that was heartbreaking.
Nothing. And now
I maybe would have re-rolled one of those, to be honest.
One back. No.
All right, here we go. Roll some 4s here, buddies. We get 1! Oh no! 1 out of 8, and it doesn't wound! Re-roll that.
Here we go. Yeah, take a
Okay, we re-roll.
I've got the Shroud Sum this turn, so 5 up. And you know what? I'm going to command point.
Yeah, and we're going to CP re-roll.
Nope, go straight.
Skauki sees the writing on the wall here. Can we kill it? We need a 4+.
Yes.
Oh no, damage 1. That's
oh, and he does 1 to it! What?
These 5 Marines that didn't move are just going to bolt and split up into it.
Oh no. That was brutal, chat. These Havocs
will actually
have been...
so I'm down to 1 for the Prince to reroll.
Yeah.
These Havocs have been brutal, but it looks like we are going to have Veterans of the Long War Chaos Space Marine squad. I think a little out of sequence there, but it looks like the players are okay with it.
Hey, 2 saves. Cool. Is he on 1 wound? Alright.
He's on 2 still, because he's got Shroud Sum.
Oh, yeah, okay. Come on, las cannons. And then, yeah, that's me, mate. Go for it.
What was the CP spend there on the Chaos Space Marines?
It was for reroll all hits near Fabius.
You got it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a Veterans of the Long War chat, and that would have put 3 more wounds into that plane. I think that would have been the play. I don't know if Dineeth has really veterans at all this game, but I think it would have helped him a lot. especially since he's double tapping these Havocs every turn. And getting +1 to wound on both shots, I think, probably would have sent one more wound through on these Archaeopter over the course of the game. Going from 2s to 3s. Oh, that's so brutal. Oh, 2 wounds on the Archaeopter.
I love that we've got like an hour on the clock.
I know. This is a bizarre game, because I don't want to go anywhere near you, because I just die. And you don't want to come anywhere near me, because you just die.
So we scored the 10 points for Skowki. He has capped
The best
at
sort of
40
games.
on primaries. But we're going to need to see him kill all this OBSEC here and start grabbing some objectives. He needs to pull 2 objectives from Dineeth here right now, I think. Yeah, Obliterators may have been better. They also they combo better with the demon infantry buffs that this list is putting together. That said, they are way more expensive, obviously. I think a unit of Havocs is more expensive than both of these, or a unit of Obliterators is both more than both of these Havoc squads put together. Yeah, chat. It's Belisarius Call is obviously the most expensive one
40.
on the table.
Sounds good.
Just make sure we're not overlapping the edge here. With the plane. Yeah, that looks better.
I think a little bit more, but I'm sure you can.
And then it's this Scorpius here is the other pick. Chat.
Yeah.
This guy. A sort of unfortunate part of the matchup, obviously, is that anytime those Havocs go for anything that's not that plane, they immediately get blasted by all the direct fire and die. So they sort of have to sit in the back and just take the shots that they're given. Fortunately, this is an aircraft, and as such, none of the obscuring terrain works on it. So these Havocs actually basically have clean line of sight to it from almost anywhere on the map, except maybe this back corner. I think that may be the only place it could hide. It's very difficult to hide an airplane, it turns out, in 9th edition.
I think I'm still obscured there. Still obscured there.
In fairness, the Obliterators also hit on 3s, so they would be having a similar issue to the Havocs right now. They just have more shots, so they can potentially pump more through. Or yeah, the Obliterators do.
Still give everyone within 6+1 move for this turn.
Yeah, I think there's no reason not to move. I guess you could potentially be losing the Iron Striders, right, is the one downside. I do think he's going to get 1 or 2 shots from these guys. Looks like he can fire at least 1, maybe 2.
Who is that, sorry?
But I think the plan was, there was a plan at least to advance these guys and push them right up to the edge to then get shots, but obviously they get blasted by Possessed.
They did not, because who wants to remember their rules? 1 and 5, so we'll turn that into... You know what, we'll do reroll 1s to hit for shooting, so for the Raiders, basically, and +1 strength.
I'm curious why these Iron Striders obviously could just touch this and shoot through it, and then just kill these guys. That might be a rules knowledge issue.
Like these guys are still obscured from your Iron Striders, right?
Because you do ignore obscuring terrain that you are...
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So they could fire over it and just kill all those units. This moves. It doesn't seem very good, though. I don't think there's anything else that they could potentially draw line of sight to.
beneficial to give an extra AP for people in
No,
half
this
range?
is retrieval mission is hold 1 for 5 and hold 2 for 10. So you need to push. Squawky needs to push Dineeth off 2 of the objectives to deny him any primary points. But the biggest issue right now is that he wants to pick off these little units for minimized losses, because I think potentially he can force Dineeth below 75% of his army remaining. 1 possessed unit's down to a single model over here. So you can pick that guy up relatively easily with a Scorpius. And then if you're able to kill all of the smaller units on the table, you'd be down to, I think, just 1 unit of possessed in the characters for Dineeth, which is only about half of his army. So that may be the play here, although I'm not sure that it's a... Oh, looks like we just lost.
Did you drop?
That's a good sign.
Yeah, it looks like it's
We
Just lost the Admech player. We'll be get him back in.
Nothing
shortly.
like a good old TTS crash.
Yep.
Okay, just jump back in, and we'll get you back in.
Yeah. Tabletop simulator is not responding. Good.
Oh, jeez.
Good.
So, as we wait for Skowky to rejoin the game, maybe he has some time to think about his strategy here, but I do think that Dineeth is in the driver's seat right now. This turn feels like there's a couple of mistakes being made. Like I mentioned before, we could see Patrick Warren with a sub. I appreciate it. We could see these Iron Striders just move up here to fire into these guys and potentially into the split into the Havocs as well. And these Skitarii, I don't know what these Skitarii are going to do. They may just advance onto this objective, but taking it from Dineeth doesn't really do anything unless Skowky's also able to take one of these 2 objectives away. I guess he's just hoping that he kills this entire unit of Possessed, but that seems like a lot. What he needs to be doing is he needs to kill this model, he needs to kill these 5 Chaos Space Marines, he needs to kill these 8 models over here. He just needs to pick up as many raw kills as possible. Very strange matchup, though. Both players focusing on being as hyper-resilient as possible.
Nearly there.
Yeah, Chad, that's a good point as well. If you're able to, or if the Admech is able to clear these guys and send raiders, maybe a charge down to here to take objective 1, it does give these guys potentially a swing on you, which would be problematic. But if you can kill enough of them, it might be worth it. It's so dangerous, though. There's so many of them. Still have like a full 20-man possess unit there. Okay, looks like everybody's back in the chat.
Advance.
Yep.
Nice.
Good stuff.
It is dangerous because, I mean, you have to engage the unit to begin with, right? You have to, in order to get this, the raiders have already moved. So they can't move again unless they charge. So if they charge, they would have to engage this unit of Possessed. Fortunately, we're out of CP for a double fight. But still, Possessed could tear that unit apart, and if they kill enough of them, potentially break a block off from this objective and move into it to take it back. And again, neither of these players wants to lose any units because they want to keep the minimized loss score as high as possible. But taking 2 doesn't really matter, right? Because there's not going to be another round of scoring for Skowky. And as long as Dineeth holds 1 and 3, he's going to score 10 points.
Paul will try and fix the plane for D3. For 1. Solid.
Looks like we put the plane back up to 3 wounds. That's something.
It'll just drop tectonic bombs, I guess, on those possessed again.
That said, I mean, these Havocs do have another chance to kill this Archaeopter. Also, we have, like, random guns, like that Zyklos Needler. I could get some shots off, potentially some cheeky shots. So if these Havocs don't get taken out, we may see Skauki lose those 5 points again from the from that while we stand.
Yeah, actually, that does make sense. There's one dude still on the wood.
Right. Shooting. The Raiders will shoot your possessed.
Strength 4 guns. Yeah, go for it.
Carbines, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s. Pause the wound. So 2 mortals and 2 saves at -1, and that many AP nothing.
I'll do my 2 ups. Takes 1. I'll do my 3 ups. Very good, and then 2 mortals, so 1.5 die. Cool.
Cerberus Raiders not doing, kind of bouncing off of the these 3+ armor saves. Their Carbine's not really able to do exactly what Skauki wants, and he
will shoot your
not taking out the Taraxii earlier in the game means that that's a lot of firepower with Wrath of Mars that he's not using.
How many shots each they have? 4 shots, is it?
He's re-rolling for cool because he's got a 9-inch reroll hit Sora and 3s. That many at -1.
Cool. 3 ups and cover. So 2 go.
And it looks like Iron Strider's going against the Havocs here. Bring him down to 2. Ooh. I do like that shot. I think one of these Iron Striders could have turned around and fired into the possessed potentially.
Number 1.
Although we did lose a couple. They might actually been shot out of line of sight. Oh, I think you have to kill those Havocs now. You have to finish them. Oh, no. Oh, they're out of range. No. Oh, no. Oh, this is looking not good for Skauki. He needs his turn to be better. I think he assumed that the Iron Striders would kill those guys, but, man, a 3+ save in cover is nothing to sniff at.
That's the unit. Nice.
But one possessed unit gets taken out by a Disintegrator anyway.
Scorpius will go into the one possessed back.
Yep. Nice.
I'm in half range of that dude. I'm not. -1.
Ups, actually. Kills him. Nice.
Oh, and there's the second, that last remaining possessor over there. So 2 possessed squads dead. I think maybe you just try to
slightly more ambitious.
Hail Mary, into a Chaos Space Marine unit.
Last one into the CSM at the back.
Okay.
3d3. One.
3 ups.
Ooh, and he bosses all of the saves. Oh, man.
Charge phase. My Raiders are going to charge these Chaos Marines.
Looks like here come the Raiders. So we'll see if he ends up moving for that that Objective 1 play, chat. You would have to string pretty far to maintain coherency, but it might be possible. I guess you just have to put 2 models on it to contest it.
Is 5 enough for what I want to do, though?
Yeah, it looks like that's what he's aiming
Probably
for.
not with coherency. So just be careful.
Yeah.
Oh, chat,
What
this is
I'm
tense.
Gonna do is I'm gonna get a big copy of the squad. I'm gonna just measure them all out. Because I just need one dude.
I hope you have the ones.
I'm just gonna mark the squad, the original squad for the players there, so that we don't get confused while we're proxying this. Looks like we have. Looks like we have the distance to do it, chat.
CP. Okay, yeah, 7.
Oh, and we're gonna CP
seven
reroll
is
that shit.
fine,
Wow, that
yeah.
was ballsy too. Could you imagine not if you just like rolled a doubles ones there? Woo!
Let's see if I can guess. Yeah.
I think you're okay. Oh, this back one, you'll have to probably make this spot.
Yeah, they also have a pylon, and they can make that work too.
That's
Cool. You haven't got any way of heroically intervening with a unit, have you?
I wish, mate. I wish.
Just make sure, find out that you're going to ruin my carefully crafted plan. Okay, and I guess I got this one spare dude who I guess can go here.
Yep, so you'll probably get about 3 good time.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, yeehaw, chat.
Okay, yeah, so 3 dudes into those Chaos
Looks like that's the
Marines.
only charge we're gonna be doing.
I mean, you can just pile in and attack them anyway, but they're advanced, they can't charge, it's fine. Right, so those 3 raiders, I'll do their cavalry sabers. How many CP have I got? 3.
Yeah, this is the
really
time to spend
not a whole lot else I
it.
can do that matters.
You're just gonna be saving it to reroll wounds, I guess.
swap
Reroll
myself
saves, I
to
guess.
reroll ones to hit in the fight phase.
Sounds good.
Cavalry sabers.
Oh, they
reroll
all
ones.
miss. One gets through with the reroll. And doesn't
no
win.
wound, because you got T4. And then the dogs.
All right. Not that this. I don't think this is a big deal, but it
Ones.
would be funny if these Chaos Space Marines come back and just lambast
3
the squad.
wins. No AP.
You can make it though, so that I
Yeah.
don't think any situation you're never gonna force a coherency check on these guys.
To here, so he's going to swing
Yep.
at this chick. He's going to pile to here, so he's able to swing at that chick. And then they're going to go this way to try and get. It'll be hard, I think. I think that'll be quite hard. So what I'll do is I'll just do 3 fellas into this unit.
So yeah, Dineeth definitely doesn't really care about this Chaos Space Marine squad. It's unlikely that some Sicaria Vanguards kill these guys.
I'm not going to get banners anyway. Yeah, you know what, mate? These are T3, right?
Oh.
Cool. I'm going to go everything into them. They're not neg to hit or
Okay, so we're
anything.
just gonna fight into them.
12 for the sergeant with chainsword, so 3s. No buffs, I don't think.
But if you
Yes,
keep them in,
3s.
attacking them might be awkward though, because if you lose any of them, well, I guess Adeptus Mechanicus bought themselves out of being able to fall back with this unit, so now you can pick them up potentially next turn. So that is another kill you can grab for minimize losses.
6 wounds.
Kills 2 of them.
I don't have to hold that, I just have to contest that one.
Yeah, so we could potentially pull one off the edge. I think you just pull out of melee. It doesn't matter. They can just pile back in, right?
Him. And then
Yeah.
him. We should be fine. I think, yeah?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Now you can't do your move in the charge phase if you're in combat, can you?
I can.
Okay.
But I haven't got enough
No.
CP to do it.
It's not instead of firing Overwatch. Oh, you don't have CP to do it.
Yeah, so you can do it instead of firing over, but it says that you can make a fallback move instead. So I'm assuming it lets you do it while you're in combat. But
Okay, cool. So that means I only get 5 for primary here.
Yeah, I think the instead of firing Overwatch or the fallback clause there just lets you to move back if the
What do I need to do to win? You're gonna
so that you
get,
can move within an inch of enemies.
Alright, this has been a great game. All right.
So this has been a bizarre.
This is so close, chat. Oh man.
So I've got 11 points in my army. So I'm only getting 10 for minimize. I'll get the 15 for what we stand we fight, and so I'm going to try and knock your 15 off. So all right, I'm gonna move.
Did we score engage on all fronts that turn?
I don't think I did actually.
Yeah, you did, because you were on 7 before, weren't you?
3, 2. Oh yeah, it's 9. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Making me question myself there.
So I've got to try and knock you down here. 10 and 10. All right. And I'll get some banners in a moment. So these guys are gimped, but that doesn't bother me. You halve their movement, eh?
Yeah, that's right. Skouki did lose a turn on occasion of all fronts because he was unfortunately made a bit of a sloppy play with one of his Archaeopters. I think wasn't quite able to get it so that it wasn't overlapping one side of the table, because you do have to be wholly within one side of the table to score that. So here comes the boys. We're just going to try to clear off as many as we can and try to hope that minimize losses gets us through. Dineeth basically has to deny 12 points off of Skouki in order to win.
And you have 15 units in your army, hey?
I have not counted, but I will do a count now.
Sorry, this is triggering. I'm just going to move to here.
Yeah, it is 15 on Skouki's list.
So you got some unit falling back. You kind of know where they are.
14 units.
14, so if I kill 3, I get my thing, don't I? So yeah, if I kill 3 units, that knocks you down to... Oh, sorry, 4 units knocks you down to 5. Right.
I think it is 15 in the Admech army.
No, where am I going? Where am I missing something?
Yeah, you have 3 troops, 2 HQs for 5, 3 fast attacks for 8, 3 heavy support for 11, 2 flyers for 13, 2 transports for 15.
Yeah, I forgot to count the sterilizers.
Oh, gotcha. Glarg, it's the 3 characters in here, basically. It's Fabius Bile, the Master Possession, then the Sorcerer. Skouki did have a chance to cap the Master Possession. He had a 50-50 on it, and he didn't go for it. Yeah, he could have. It had perils down to a 1 wound, and he could have bombed it with the plane for the kill. And he decided not to. He decided to kill like 2 or 3 possessed instead. And I think that's going to come back and bite him.
Okay, so I think I can do this. So I have the potential to get 2 more banners end game. Alright, Fabius will just buff the Sork, it's not going to matter. Actually, the Sork will just do one more thing. Just get ready for a prescience on them. Alright.
So I do think the banner here is broken, right? Because these raiders controlled this objective 3-2 at the end of their charge phase.
Yeah, you're right. So I'll drop myself to 10. Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, Trini.
Won't matter because you've moved. I'm -1. You'll give yourself +1, so you'll be -1 anyway.
And the might.
Oh, do they not? Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. In that case, makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So I'll start with the mutated, the Master of Possession. He'll just cast mutated invigorations. Nope. Then we'll just rocket smite out. Hey, big smite.
Ooh, super smite. This is a good time for that. Oh boy.
The Sork is going to put prescience on the Havoc's. he gets precedence on the Havocs. Then he'll warp time. Let's just double check. What have you done there? I'll just warp time, yeah. Phase, cool. Shooting phase. Havocs will go onto the plane. So now 3s and 3s. Okay, 2 invos. Awesome. That was very important.
He's dead.
Yeah. Cool.
He does not blow up.
Okay, cool. Whew, that was really good. That gets you down 5 on while we're standing fight. 5-2 CP. Let's do some shooting. Oh no, wait, they can't shoot. They're battering up. You know what, mate? I'll just charge the possess now.
So you can't perform the banner action if there's an enemy within range of that objective?
Oh, I can't? Okay, sorry. Then that's not happening. Then I'll just shoot. They don't make one to hit or anything. Just that many saves.
Another dog.
Cool. I'll just charge now. Cool. Along. I'm just gonna floor this way and fight. Got one guy. It's probably too far. Can you check what I rolled on my charge?
You rolled a 10, so you will go 5.
So chat, yeah, the
Alright.
Admech have lost the 2 planes so far. It looks like they're on track to lose these Cerberus Raiders.
Sorry.
I don't know what's up with these Vanguard.
I'll pull this guy back up.
They may also be dead. Because they were never deployed. I think they might have been a strategic reserve and just never made it to the table, in which case they would be destroyed as well.
4 million attacks have you got, like, a lot?
Yeah, it'll be a ton. I'll roll the number. So 1, and I can re-roll that. So 2, so that's 3 it's like 30 attacks, yeah. Cool.
They're gonna die.
Alright, that gets...
I guess if that's what we want to call it. I won't make them roll it, but there you go.
Game for holding that one. I get 10 minimize and 15 while we stand and fight. And I believe you get your 10 here. And you get your 10 here.
How many? You killed the planes and the raiders, right?
Yes. Oh, hey, you get your 15, sorry, my bad. Mate, what a game.
Was quite something.
Yeah, that was it. That last battle I played was it.
So, let's double check these numbers.
A match, man.
So what's what's remaining on the table for the Adeptus Mechanicus here? Where did these Vanguard go?
Oh man, what are they doing there? Yeah,
What's
no,
that?
I think he's won that because I don't know what I was doing with these.
Oh no, that's tragic.
Oh man.
Were they reserved?
No, I just forgot to put them on the board, to be honest.
Oh no.
All right. Well, there you go.
Muppet.
Yeah.
What a muppet, honestly.
Yeah, I assumed that they had been strategic reserved and just left there.
Oh, I'm really sorry, Jack. That's.
Oh man.
No, look on. That's yeah. Nah, dude, like that doesn't affect the game at all. I'm happy to give you that win. Like you could have just kept them in the backfield the whole time. It doesn't matter.
Yes, as long as you and Trevi are okay with that.
I mean, I guess I'll leave it up to Trevi. Like it.
Yeah, I think he's the person to ask, to be honest.
Yeah, if you want to concede that, that's fine with me.
I mean, if you didn't gonna do that, man, then I really appreciate it, and I am eternally grateful to you, sir. Let it be said on stream that you are an honourable man, and that I'm a moron.
I mean, look, I'm not the type of person to take that away from you, man. Like, what was that unit going to do? Like, so here's the thing: the only thing it could have done is given me a kill point, and if it gave me a kill point, that would have affected it.
I probably would have just shoved them at the back, to be honest. They'd have sat here instead of the Scorpius, probably on objective 6.
It's alright. In an hour or so, I'll be kicking myself for giving you that, but no, I'm not going to give that to you.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it, man.
Because that doesn't take away from what you did here to seal the game in turn 5.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry for a really boring game, everyone on stream. I don't know. I'll have a look at what the live chat said after this. I'm sure they all love me by now. I'll take it. I'm not appearing again, Trevi.
Well, that puts you at 1-1, right?
It does.
Oh mate, look what you've done. You've made me have to beat the G.
You saved my ass here, really, man.
So you're both fighting for your lives here, I think, in the last game. So. And you're definitely welcome back anytime. As much as there might have been not a lot of momentum on the table, we were pulling our hair out in that last turn on chat here.
Yeah, I was sat, the thing is, it got to turn sort of 4, and I'm sat there like, okay, he's clearly sitting in this ruin for a reason, and I've not thought about this. So I'm sat there like, how many points is he gonna get? Okay, I actually need to do something this turn, or we're gonna lose the game.
That's it.
I was worried that it would come down at the end to those 2 little Chaos Space Marine units, chilling in the back, with the potential to theoretically obsec those objectives away on the final turn. And I was hoping that a Scorpius would go in and clear those guys out, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, the problem is the Scorpius is just not great at killing Marine saves in cover.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I roll big hots on my Scorpiuses to kill possessed all game, but yeah, it's a weird game because I don't want to go near him because he just kills me, and he doesn't want to come into the open because I just kill him, and so nobody wants to do anything, which is I think this has got to be one of the most bizarre games I've ever played, but it's something to take away nonetheless. And how Havocs are such a fantastic unit to miss 80-90% of their shots and then do nothing.
Yeah, I was hoping that Sorcerer would take a little journey over there and prescience them at least once to pump them up, but they were.
I mean, in hindsight, was your Master of Possession one of your
I was actually about to tell you, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna.
Was he one of your while we stand we fight? Because I totally blanked it. I should have totally bombed him and gone for the 4-up kill him. And that would have made this a lot easier and not have to pull off some weird play at the end of the game where I leave some Space Marines here so I can get to this objective without touching some possessed. And sticking some Vanguard here. But yeah, what a weird game, man. Thanks for the game, and thanks for being a great human being and allowing me to be a moron and get away with it.
You've just made me have to work hard on the GK, mate. Don't worry.
That's fine. I've got to work hard on the GK matchup now as well. So, and I know Grey Knights really do not care about my 2 damage shooting weapons or my strength 7 or 8. So that'll be interesting.
I'm gonna take 50 mortal wounds and smites a turn. That's all.
Yeah, it's pretty rough for you, isn't it?
Yeah, and what's that?
Every Chaos player's favourite matchup.
Yeah, and I possessed a Mark of Corn to fight twice. What a shame. I can't get DR.
Yeah.
I've got to feel my pain.
What a great game, man.
I'm excited for it. But yeah, no, thanks for the game, bro. Is there anything? So my general plan. I know maybe we had a bit of a chat about it in our last game, but I guess my general plan here was if I got the terrain, I'm not moving out. Like, I'm just chilling out.
I don't blame you. I mean, you've got no incentive to, and I've not really given you any way of interacting with me. Like, don't be wrong, the possessed at the back could go for a really, really long bomb charge on something, maybe. I hadn't actually sat there and measured it out, but but I mean, you don't want to do that because then I'm just going to pick up all your possessed in that unit.
I either have to get a double wrap, which is hard against the tanks, like it's incredibly hard against the tanks, or I try and go into these guys, copper, or he both watch and just get eaten. Or go for the unthinkable and try and wrap call. Because I was like, wait a minute, if I wrap call and I make it so he can't desperate breakout, he loses call. So that was the only other play.
Yeah, losing my characters is a big deal.
Yeah. So because I didn't have that, I was like, sweet, I'll run for a bit. I'll just play the denial game. I thought I was lucky with minimize, I'd be alright. But yeah, that was interesting.
You're right. I mean, what can you do differently? It's a bit of a polarizing matchup, really, isn't it? It's very opposite styles of list.
The only thing I could have done to predict that is just get a frontliner possessed here.
True.
That'd probably be it. But then I know I lose that.
Yeah, the second you put something in the open, then all my other shooting that didn't do anything all game opens up.
Yeah,
and I mean, the missiles on the Scorpius are all blast weapons, so they're all getting 6 shots from them.
That's
and then the Ballistar, you're eating like another 38 multi-damage shots again, and then you don't really... Well, it's not worth it, is it?
No, not at all.
Anyway.
In saying that, you know what? If I actually did that, that would have changed a massive part of the game.
It would have. It'd have been a very different game for sure.
That would have meant I get my 10 primary, and that's all I needed. So maybe that was the play. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I expected you to throw your stuff straight out the building towards me, and I was expecting to be sitting there with 50 possessed in front of me turn 1 or 2, and like, cool. I guess I got to deal with that. If I can't, then oh boy, we're in for fun times. And if I can, then. Well, I mean, the game would have been about as quick. I mean, so... But anyway.
Yeah, because I reckon you played that pretty well. I think there probably was a turn or two where you could have got more engagement fronts.
Faffed around with my secondaries. I've not fully adjusted to 9th yet, because that's the second time I've screwed up my secondaries a bit. But not as bad as picking Raise the Banners and then getting 4 points for it, but...
Who hasn't done that though? Really, I mean, it's the classic Raise the Banners experience.
Yeah, well, I was sat there, so I could probably sit here on 2 for the whole game. Turn 1, arm in combat. I know, turn 2, I think it was. It's like, okay. This is awkward, and of course, Exorcists just do not die to Admech. They do not care about AP -1/2. So we had played a fun game of the planes can go bump the Exorcists while I somehow get out of my deployment zone. But yeah, I can't complain with my games so far. I mean, it's secondaries mostly. It's just not adapting to the 9th completely. Yeah, I think it's most of it.
I think I had a similar experience in that game with Kian, where he was like, I'll move to the center of the table. Oh, wait, all the Repentia are on me.
Yes, I feel like in your case, you might be slightly better equipped to deal with Repentia in combat than I am.
Yeah, I did. I had a pretty good combat, got lucky, but
yeah. In fact, you know what actually cost me that game was the fact that if I'd just taken Electro Priest instead of the Skystalkers, I probably would have just won that game, because Celestine and the Canoness, when they resurrected, I could have actually killed them again without having to sit there and wait a whole turn while they charged my lines and did more damage.
Yeah, I'm still too scared to try and kill Celestine once, because I'm like, oh, it'll be a massive waste.
I'm normally in that point of view, but when she's sat there within charge range of your characters that you desperately rely on to not lose the game against a combat army, you're like, well, might want to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, it got so desperate I charged the unit of Ballistarian to Celestine. I mean, that's a good sign of desperation. Because I wanted her nowhere near my characters.
Yeah, okay. That's taught me something cool with this possessed. All I had to do was just move them there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think the only thing you have to not do is not have a unit of possessed behind another unit of possessed. so that you don't have to walk around them or find ways through them. Because then I just bomb the front unit and I waste half the back unit's movement.
Yeah, and stop
This
failing
unit,
all your warp times too. Just get some warp times off sometime.
Mate,
yeah.
I reckon I've gotten. Well, I didn't cast that many this game, but I reckon I've gotten it off like twice in 2 games.
I mean, I do have a notorious record of anyone playing against me cannot cast warp time for any reason at all. It just doesn't happen. You can't make that cool, important play because I jinx it.
It's alright, mate. Just sit back and shoot. It's a good time.
Exactly. I thought, no, you're going to go on about sitting back. I moved further up the table than you did. I mean, look at this. I mean, what's going on here when an Admech gunline is moving further up the table than 60 possessed?
I love it.
Yeah, I think that was about the only thing really, was just making so the possessed at the back can come round. Because otherwise, I bomb that unit, block this unit on the left, and then this unit at the back is just sort of there. But yeah, like you said, a unit on the front line I think would have made this a very different game and made it much more awkward for me to deal with. Right.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Awesome. Well, that was an awesome game, guys. I really appreciate it. Jack, congratulations on the win. And Dineeth, absolute class act over here. I think we're all going to be rooting for you in your next game. So thanks for you guys for tuning up. And Dineeth, really humbling show of sportsmanship.
Yeah. I honestly think that is the best and most sportsmanlike move I've ever seen in the game of 40k to go, you know what, actually, you can win. I really appreciate it, man.
It's nothing I wouldn't do, you know, even if it was like a practice game or a game that, you know, counts for something. Yeah. I'm not gonna take that away from you. But hey, thanks again, Trevi, and I'm gonna get ready for work and catch you guys later.
Awesome. Well, cool. Have a good day at the office.
Thanks, bro.
Right.
All right, chat. That's going to be it for us today. What an insane finish to that game. Absolute insane sportsmanship from Dineeth here. His opponent realizing he did make a deployment mistake there, and Dineeth allowing him to go back and repair that game state, and just literally handing the win over to his opponent. Just a really classy move, and I think we're all impressed by it, and we'll be rooting for Dineeth in his next game, which is going to be against Matt Green and the Grey Knights. We'll see if he's able to pull that one off with this wacky possessed list. I was impressed with how Dineeth was able to pilot this list. I think into a pretty, not a great matchup. I think as we all talked about at the start of the game, I think Squawky definitely had the edge going in. I think a little bit better target priority from Skowky could have made it a little bit easier for him, but he was able to pull out that win right at the end of the game there. Amazing game. I'm so glad that we got to pod this one. Incredible. And we'll be moving on to the next game. We're going to be live. This one was really quick. So we're going to be live in about 3 hours with that next game. That's going to be Nick Rose with Salamanders versus Cullen Burns with Craftworld Eldar. We're going to put a bunch of vehicles on the table, a bunch of big tanks, and have them shoot each other. It's going to be awesome. So tune in for that one. You can find a link to it on tts40k.com/invitational, and it's going to be awesome. Thanks, everyone, again for watching. I'm glad you able to take the time out of your day to watch this game, and we'll be live with more 40k content all week. Tomorrow we have a whole boatload of games scheduled. It's going to be sick. So we'll see you later this afternoon. Keep it classy, folks, and have happy wargaming.